You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life won't believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know when you do it, you're going to have to do it all by yourself.
Right, hello everybody, good evening and welcome to, there we go, tonight's edition of Chapter and Verse. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed your week off from Chapter and Verse. Chapter and Verse did. Chapter and Verse, well, me, was doing lots of great courses and workshops for you all, which kept me extremely busy, but I'm absolutely delighted to be back giving you Chapter and Verse this week. So what have I got lined up for you? Well, before we get going, let's have some shout outs. Now, Mummy English has been very busy taking in the live chat. And so can I say a big shout out to Layla. Hello, Layla, who's looking forward to tonight's show. Hello to Sophie and Josh from Amersham, who'd like a shout out. It's Josh's first show. Josh, I hope you enjoy it this evening. And hello to Nadine and Victoria in Northern Canada. And Anne likes my hair. Well, thank you very much. I've gone for a little bit of pink. And somebody else says they like the T-shirt. Well, thank you very much. I had nothing to wear, so I just went with this. Right. So, right. Well, I always start with word lovers. So my word of the week this week is going to be surreptitious. Okay. So some of you may already know what the word surreptitious means. But if you don't, you will soon. So let me sort up my very technical, very advanced board for you. I'll just bring this a bit closer. So I'm working with a slightly different studio space today. So I'm just seeing how this works out, but we may well be back in our bright yellow studio next week. So here we go, surreptitious. I've broken it down into 4 syllables for you so you can practice saying it nice and clearly. Surreptitious. And it means it's a kept secret, especially because it would not be approved of. So surveillance recording, sometimes that's done surreptitiously. And the example sentence we have here is they had a surreptitious midnight feast and finished all of the remaining birthday cake. That wouldn't be approved of. Well, probably would. If I was the one eating it, it'd be fine. So I'm going to give you around 1 minute now to just come up with 1 or 2 sentences that use the word surreptitious. You can pop them in the live chat, or you can put a comment under the video, or you can just jot them down or shout out at the screen, whatever works for you. Okay, off you go. Play. Hello, Adeline, you're 7 now. Ooh. Delia, Tom Gates' sister, was a very surreptitious person. Pause. Okay, well done if you had a chance to try out using the word surreptitious. But I don't want to just stop there today with our word lovers word. What we're actually going to do now is see if we can come up with some synonyms. So if you weren't already sure, a synonym is a word that has the same or similar meaning. So we're looking for words that are similar or the same as surreptitious. So off you go. Let's see if you can come up with any.
You can't wait for their affirmation. You can't wait for their approval. You can't wait for their support. Sometimes you just gotta run and look behind you and say, everybody wants to run, but I can't stop running because you're not running. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life will chase it. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life will believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life.
Hello to Hannah in Bury St Edmunds. Private, yes, that could be a synonym for surreptitious. Well done. Secret is coming through quite a lot. Excellent. Oh, disapproved of. Sneaky, that's a great one. Well done, Ed. Pause. Okay, let's see how your list compares to my list. So I did pre-prepare a list for you today. So we've got 10 different words for you that have the same or similar meaning to the word surreptitious. So you could use these almost interchangeably. So we've got secret, stealth, clandestine, secretive, sneaky, sly, furtive, concealed, hidden, undercover, covert and veiled. Okay, so lots for you to choose from there. Right, so that brings us to the end of Word Lovers. So as you will have noticed that my studio is a little bit different today, and so I've got to go slightly further to put my words into my brain bank. So I want you to do exactly the same thing with your vocab, with your new word that you've learned today, okay? Pop it in your brain, just like I'm popping it in mine up here, and bank it there, and make sure you whip it out and use it, okay? Challenge yourself to use the word a few times across the next week to really embed it into your word bank. Okay, so let's move on. Well, what's out there? What is out there? Well, lots is still closed. So it's still a bit tricky for me to bring you great ideas for book events and things like that you might like to go to. But there is one thing that's going on this summer that goes on every summer, and it's still going on this summer despite lots of restrictions across the country, and that is the Summer Reading Challenge. So many of you have probably done this before. You might have done it with school or through school. You might have found out about it from your local library. It's delivered by the Reading Agency, who work closely with public libraries to bring a challenge for you. And this year it's based around the Silly Squad. It sounds hilarious, sounds really good fun. And you can visit you just need to type in Summer Reading Challenge into Google, and you'll find the website there, and you can log in, or you can sign up if you haven't already. Ask your adults' permission first. And there's lots there for you to do and get involved with. So definitely something you should do. And the link for that will be on the chapter and verse summary sheet that I post on the Facebook page after the show. So what's next? Well, Writer's Corner. So every week I bring you something that you could use to improve your written work. It might be a technique that you could use in your creative writing, or it might be a style of writing that you might like to try, or something to incorporate into your work. And this week I'm going to talk about monologue, dialogue, and prologue. So there they are on the board. Now you probably can see that I've highlighted in yellow the word log. And that's because it's in all three words and because it's what links them all together. Now, this actually stems from a Latin word, the Latin word log, which means word. And the word part in combination with the part at the front is what gives the word its meaning. So I know those of you who've come to a lot of my chapter and verse and my English live lessons will know that I'm a big fan of etymology. So, oh, my goodness, sneeze. Okay. So what is a monologue? Well, a monologue is a speech delivered by one character. Okay. It can be addressing the audience. If it's in a play, it can be addressing other characters. It can just be a long rant. And that's a monologue. One person, mono, one group set of words for one person to deliver. So dialogue. Well, dialogue is a conversation between two or more characters, and that's something that you should definitely include in your writing. If you're introducing characters, let them speak. Okay, don't forget to include speech. And again, the log is the word that connects all of these together. And prologue. So what's a prologue? Well, a prologue is a short introductory text that comes before the main body of a text that might introduce an idea or a concept, or it may be a little preamble to warm you up to what's in the main story. So monologue, dialogue, prologue. Do you know any books or stories or films that have any of these things? Have a little think now. Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds with the music on, so you can just have a little dance for a minute if you prefer. But pop in the chat if you can think of any that use these three things. Okay, off you go. Play. The Wishing Spell, the Harry Potter series. Now, do they have prologues? Or is it just monologues? They probably all have dialogue. So Layla's asking, is it used just in plays? Well, no, not necessarily. My Sister the Vampire. Star Wars, yes. Excellent. You're coming up with lots of great examples. That's fantastic. Well done, everybody. Pause. So, what about this one? An epilogue. What's an epilogue? Maybe you could have a quick guess. Well, an epilogue is a section or speech at the end of a book or play that serves as a comment on or a conclusion to what has happened. So it's like a prologue, but it comes at the end. So you could have a book with a prologue, dialogue, maybe a monologue here and there, more dialogue, and then an epilogue on the end. And maybe you've read things like that before and you didn't even realize that's what they were called, but now you know. And it might encourage you to include these things in your own writing too. Okay, right. So let's pop Writer's Corner. Oh, it's better not. Be careful not to knock my my board down today. So I'm going to pop these things into my brain. so I don't forget to use them next time I do some interesting writing. Okay, what's next today? Read this book. Okay, well, this week we've got 2 recommendations from me. So rather than give them out to the public, to you, I've done 2 recommendations this week, but I still would love to hear your recommendations. So if you would like to be the person that reviews a book for Chapter and Verse next week, then just in the comments, read this book, the name of the book, your name and your age, and I will pick one of you to do that review, and I'll contact you and we will get that arranged before next Monday. So what are the books that I'm going to recommend to you? Well, the first one I'm going to recommend to you is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Now, this is a great story. It's heartbreaking, it's amusing, it's funny, it's thought-provoking, and it really offers some insight into the life of a young boy who is on the autistic spectrum, and he has a bit of an adventure. I don't want to give too much away, but it has funny moments, it has sad moments, and it is a real eye-opener. It also has a few swears, but they're in context, so it's allowed. I've taught this book to year 7s and year 8s before, so I don't see any reason why 10s and 11-year-olds wouldn't be able to pick this book up and read it and enjoy it, and possibly even younger learners too. So that's the first book that I'm going to recommend for you this evening. The second book that I'm going to recommend might not be quite as well known, and it's this one, Fat Boy Swim by Catherine Ford. Now, again, this is another book about a young boy, and this boy lives in Scotland. So if you like reading dialogue that uses accents and dialects, then this could be the book for you. So you can practice your Scottish accent when you're reading some of it. I'm not going to try and do it myself right now. But it's about fitting in, bullying, building relationships. He makes really close friends with an elderly gentleman, and it's a heartwarming, heartbreaking story, a coming of age story. So I would recommend this one from 10 years to 13 years, maybe even a bit younger as well. And it's just a lovely all-rounder. So it might be a good summer read for some of you. So I'll pop that also on the board there. And of course, both books are noted down in the summary sheet for Chapter and Verse, so you can very easily check out what they are after the show this evening. So what's next? Right, my swag bag, this one here. So this is the bag where I put something every week that is spelling, punctuation and grammar related, that kind of just needs to be known and needs to be rehearsed and learned and really locked into our brains so that we don't make those silly mistakes. And this week, it's a grammar one. It's less versus fewer. So lots of you make this mistake frequently. I sometimes make this mistake when I'm not thinking, and lots of adults make this mistake all over social media. I heard someone say it on the radio the other day as well. It's okay though. So less versus fewer. So I've got 2 examples there for you, but before we discuss the examples, I should probably explain to you when you should use less and when you should use fewer. So you use less when you're using when you're describing uncountable nouns. So you could be less honest or less appealing, whereas fewer is what you would use if you were describing something that was quantifiable. So fewer cars were on the road, for example. My examples: there were fewer visitors than expected. So that's a quantifiable thing. So fewer visitors. There may have been 50 visitors when 60 were expected. And less, I am less well known than Joe. I am less well known than Joe Wicks. Because there's not less of me, if that makes sense. So let's see if you can come up with your own sentences accurately using less and fewer. Okay, pop them in the chat, shout them out at the screen, just write them down on a piece of paper, or pop them in the comments. I love seeing the comments pop up throughout the week as everyone tunes in to watch this on Catch Up. Okay, off you go. Play. Oh, I'm glad that Nadine's reading my recommendation, The Bees. Great book. There is someone who is less honest than me. Very good. After the visitors came to my party, there were fewer cakes than I had before. Okay. There are fewer people at my primary school than my secondary school. Great, so using it comparatively. Fraser has fewer toys than Eve. Excellent. Fab. Well done, everybody. Pause. Okay, so hopefully now you have got this locked in up here, and you're going to start using it correctly. Now, one of the things I do say on the summary sheet this week is to test your adult at home, ask them, try and trick them, try and catch them out, and see if between you all you can really nail getting this right. Okay. You can always correct people that don't, but you just have to do it politely. So that goes in the swag bag and in your brains, I hope. Right, okay, we are almost at the end, but we have one thing left to do today, and that is our School of the Week. So School of the Week this week goes to St Edmunds Catholic Primary School in Bury St Edmunds. You are a fabulous school. You are respected and loved and wonderful. And I'm going to read out a short message from the person who nominated you. St Edmunds Catholic Primary School in Bury St Edmunds. They've been open for the entirety of lockdown, and the staff have thought of games that children can do whilst they are social distancing. The children who weren't at school, that couldn't see their friends and haven't been able to come to the building, they've made it work for them to be able to see their friends. And their teachers have planned for them to go to Forest School to meet their new teachers. So that's a great thing that they've done for their learners, and they definitely deserve a massive round of applause. Well done to St Edmunds Catholic Primary School in Bury St Edmunds. You rock. Okay, so that brings us now, sadly, to the end of this week's chapter and verse. It's flown by. It does every week. That's because I enjoy it. Time flies when you're having fun. So if you want to be the person that reviews a book for me in chapter and verse next week, then please make sure you comment on this video saying your name, your age, and the book that you'd like to review. And if you want to download this snazzy summary sheet with a few little challenges to do in relation to the different things I've covered in the show, you can get this from the Facebook group about 5 minutes after the show finishes. And thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Don't forget, I've got the Fun with Words workshop next week. You're very welcome to come along and join me for that. And I've got chapter and verse every Monday. So I'll see you next Monday. Play.
You can't wait.
Thanks for coming.
You can't wait for their approval. You can't wait for their support.
Bye.
Sometimes you just gotta